इज फुल डे प्रोग्राम, बट मैंने थोड़ा उसको स्क्वीज करके आई एम जस्ट ट्राइंग टू टच अपॉन द टॉपिक, जस्ट टच अपॉन, and we'll try to understand what is it that is new in this. Of course, ये कुछ नया नहीं है. This is almost as old as 40 years. You can say 39 years. The first amendment came in the year 84. किसको मालूम है, जरा हाथ ऊपर करो. How many of you know that this particular provision of retrenchment definition 200 is amended in the year 1984? You can write down. This is where from you will start. Now you will have a question which is otherwise obvious कि 84 के पहले क्या था. कुछ तो होगा ना 84 के पहले, उसके बाद अमेंडमेंट था, उसके पहले क्या था. So you refer to Bajaj Auto judgment which came out in the year 1993, which has way back footings in the year 1979 and I don't know 78, 79, 80s वगैरह. Okay, so Bajaj Auto versus R.P. Sawant, Supreme Court larger bench judgment, which talks about how people were recruited and how people were exited. Can read that, conclude. This is where from the base you will start preparing a base. Now when you search on internet about Bajaj Auto, you will get 3 judgments. 3 बड़े judgment है, which is excellent for you and me to learn. Any of the judgment that we talk about throughout the day up to 12 o'clock is a great source for you and me to learn. अच्छा, मुझे बताओ आप सीखते कहाँ हैं, कहाँ से हैं? What is an authentic source? The Supreme Court judgment is an authentic source from you get very pakka learning, very sound with reasoning for and against. When you read a judgment, you get an argument for, you get an argument against, and then the interpretation made by the court and the reasoning for reaching to XYZ conclusion, looking at for and against arguments and then documentary evidences. तो ये मेरे और आपके लिए हो गया authentic learning from which I learn. Then definitions, provisions, constitutional and articles, source of learning is secondary. Then High Court, Judiciary, High Court, Supreme Court, and understanding basics of FTA.
Sir, coming.
Sir, welcome. Mr. Suthar, please.
No, it's okay.
Yes, you know Soni Saab. Almost all of you must be knowing. Soni Saab is an assistant commissioner of labor at Godhra and is my mentor. Sir, you can add a lot of things.
You mean how I could be a mentor?
Sir, I have learned from you a lot.
No. Please.
Godhra na Mohammad Haris Patel sahib ni jagya par. So, sir, we were talking about 1.5 hour. We have created a base.
Continue.
And we are starting about.
Continue me as your disciple.
Sir, thank you very much for joining. So, Industrial Disputes Act 1947. उसके बाद साहब यहाँ भी जाओ. Then Industrial Employment Standing Orders. There are 2 standing orders which you already know. कौन सा है? One is standing orders, model and certified. Yes. Then you have Judiciary, High Court, Supreme Court, and then we will be talking about an action plan. करना क्या है? This is what we have learned so far 1.5 hour. Then we are going to learn about the basic provisions of the Act. Then we talk about what Judiciary interprets, whatever we talked about, the law, and finally what is it that you and me is supposed to do when we go back to a shop floor, and how are we going to connect to the business. This is what we are going to talk. Is it interesting? Yes?
Much interesting.
Sorry, sir?
Much interesting.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you. So, we'll first look at what is industrial dispute. कोई बता सकता है किसी को मालूम है what is industrial dispute? Section 2 के क्या होता है industrial dispute? Husband and wife working in a factory, उनके बीच में मारामारी हो गया because they have different equations at home and they have filed a divorce case. and husband and wife working in the same premises fought, एक दूसरे ने गाली भी दिया, मारा भी, is it an industrial dispute? Yes, no. हाँ, obviously, क्योंकि तो फैक्ट्री में झगड़ा हुआ है, one is workman, one is executive, तो is it an industrial dispute? Yes, no. So it is for you and me to know किसके बीच में झगड़ा हुआ और क्या सब्जेक्ट के ऊपर झगड़ा हुआ. That gives you an understanding what is industrial dispute. Yes, no. तो बट मैंने जो एग्जांपल लिया वो सही है गलत है? Husband and wife working in one premises, they fought, beaten carefully, and on a matter of the divorce case that they have filed somewhere in the family court, and subject matter was that. ये सही है गलत है? नहीं? So I'll come back to you. Then model standing orders, gratuity and constitution. There are constitution कुछ articles हैं which these particular subject के लिए हमारे लिए ज़्यादा important. So that we'll talk about. Okay. So who is a workman? First of all, why I'm saying this, why I've shown you this slide first is because all the labor laws are applicable to whom? But किसको बोलेंगे? Is he a workman? Is he a workman? Is Amma a workman? Is she a workman? Who is a workman? किसको बोलेंगे workman? Because I am putting on a helmet, I am putting on a boiler suit, I am putting a safety shoes. Is that a definition of workman? Who is workman? किसको बोलेंगे workman? So the person who does a manual work, unskilled, skilled, chemical, technical, operation, supervisory. So ये people doing this job is workman. तो अभी आपने workman का definition पढ़ा होगा कहीं. I'm just trying to brush up. तो ये workman है, but additionally whose terms of employment are expressed or implied. What is the difference? Expressed is what? इसका मतलब क्या होता है? Terms of employment is expressed. What is it that is? What is the meaning of that? अभी हमने वो slide देखा ना, there is opportunity to arrive at service condition का document वगैरह देखा हमने. So that is what expressed is. Implied is what? Implied is what? This is expressed. I am giving you something in writing which says that you are a workman, you are not a workman. So there are implied terms and conditions that आपको गेट नंबर 1 से ही अंदर आना है, आपको ए शिफ्ट में ही आना है, आपको बॉयलर सूट ही पहनना है. These are all, there are different, there could be 100 such conditions which are implied, not expressed in writing. उसे workman कहते हैं. So you can make a list when you go back to your place. Create a list which are all the terms and conditions which are expressed, which are not expressed, and that will decide whether he is a workman, he is not a workman. To tell you this particular two words and to further articulate who is a workman, I have gathered 52 Supreme Court judgment जो आपको बताएगा this is the workman, this is not a workman. The interpretation, the guideline, the outcome given by almost 52 judgments, उसका एक summary बनाया है, which I'll share with you if the time permits. That gives you clear-cut understanding that ये workman है, ये workman नहीं है. The clear-cut bifurcation between the two. The reason is that these FTA is a workman. We are going to talk about what? We are going to talk about FTA who is a workman. But इसमें there is some छोटा सा intricacy है इसमें. What is that? Though you and me are labeled as engineer, officer, executive, assistant manager, tomorrow when some dispute comes, he is going to claim, I am not executive, I am a workman. Somebody is going to forcibly convince the court that मैं workman हूँ, I am not an executive. तो उसका एक लिस्ट अलग से दिखाऊंगा. Who all people can sit on my head and try to convince somebody who is an authority that मैं सुपरवाइजर, मैं ऑफिसर, मैं मैनेजर नहीं हूँ. दिस इज हाउ it is declared, it is the judgment is given by the Supreme Court that a pilot is a workman. Do you all agree? Pilot is a workman, the doctor is a workman. Do you all agree? A maintenance manager is a workman. These are all judgments given. But क्यों ऐसा? Why did the court took that view that maintenance manager is a workman? Which are all the factors being considered to declare that no, he is not an assistant manager, he is not a maintenance manager, he is a workman. Personnel manager also is a workman. There are judgments like this. तो क्यों ऐसा होता है? Why personnel manager is workman? I am trying to create a preamble for you to understand that what is the connection between workman and a fixed term employment. A fixed term employment is going to remain somewhere around our discussion, and then we'll try to interpret कि yes ये workman है और ये FTA. Who has been dismissed, discharged, retrenched in connection or consequence of dispute वगैरह. जैसे मैंने आपको बोला husband wife का झगड़ा हो गया. What was the reason? So they had filed some divorce case in the family court. Is not the matter which is part of this definition. So it's not an industrial dispute, but अभी उसको industrial dispute बनाना है. That is an intricacy. Your expertise and my expertise इसमें हम लगाएंगे, and then we'll try to prove that whether this is an industrial dispute or it is not an industrial dispute. Okay. So but does not workman कौन नहीं होगा इसमें? So who is not a workman is very important for us, which I have highlighted in red. So who is not a workman? One is an army, air force, navy. Second is the police. Third is, see, these are all very the very basic of industrial relations, employee relations, legal, HR. For all of us, this is available there in the books. You can very well refer it, and you can simultaneously, though I have not produced here what code says. Code का हमने कहीं पे कुछ दिखाया नहीं. But you can, after you go back to your home, you can relate it to what code says. So almost similar, but थोड़ा सा difference है that you can very well make out. Who is employed managerial, administrative or supervisory capacity? Supervisory is coming in fourth. So who is manager? According to you, who is manager? I am a manager, you are manager. Who is manager? Manager किसको बोलते हैं? The person who manages. Yes, he manages what? Huh? He is an independent manager. So what is dependent manager? Okay, the person who has got a control is a manager. The person who is managing, who is a representative of management is a manager. Yes, no? So उसके पास क्या क्या controls है? Which are all the things which he can control? Yes, the manager does what? उसके पास सब control है. He manages. This is how. Second is administrative capacity. He administers everything. And then supervisor. अभी supervisor is also not a workman. Yes? So who is workman? Who is workman? Manual, skilled, semi-skilled, unskilled, operational, technical वगैरह जो काम करता है, he is a workman. And M, मैंने इसको थोड़ा short form कर दिया है for you to remember easily and connect. So for you to remember who is you remember this one line understanding for you to remember who is not workman is managerial, administrative and supervisory is MAS mass. For now it's for you to very आप अच्छी तरीके से याद रख सकते हैं that yes MAS is not a workman. Now उसका yardstick हम आप बाद में देखेंगे. हाँ यहाँ रख दो, थैंक यू. Now what is retrenchment? Retrenchment का definition देखो, retrenchment means termination. देखो, first word which we talked about half an hour back is termination. Termination का मतलब क्या है? What is the meaning of this word? That you can refer it, Gujarat rules में definition दिया है. When you go back to your open Gujarat rules, termination का definition दिया है. क्या है termination? For any termination of by employer of a service of workman for any reason whatsoever, very broad term, कुछ भी reason है उसको terminate किया, but otherwise then punishment inflicted by a disciplinary action. तो termination का clear हो गया. What is the termination? Anything other than disciplinary action is a termination. Okay? Does not include, थोड़ा carefully पढ़ना है. This is the technical word which should be marked up, understood, interpreted and implemented in a different way. Voluntary retirement of a workman is not, we are talking about what? What is not retrenchment? What is not retrenchment? First is an action taken for disciplinary action is not retrenchment. Second is what? Second is voluntary retirement is not. Third is what? Retirement of a workman on reaching age of supervision, contract of employment. अभी ये क्या है? Contract of employment क्या होता है? What is it? What do you mean by contract of employment? One is, उसके पहले क्या था? We have seen that list, no? Appointment letter के पहले वो स्क्रीन पे कुछ लिखा था ना? What was that? Standing orders, my dear. Standing orders tells you lot of things about what? Tells about contract of employment. What is third? Fourth, fifth, and there are 24 more opportunities through which you have got a freedom to make sure that you arrive at what? Contract of employment. कहाँ ये retirement कहाँ पे लिखा है? It is either written in the standing orders or written in the appointment letter. आप appointment letter बनाते हो तो भूलना मत. Otherwise, till the time he is mentally and physically fit, you cannot retire him. ये गलती करना मत. When you decide appointment letter, there are compulsory conditions which should be there in the appointment letter, and one of them is this: when will you retire? It can be 58 years, it can be 55 years, it can be 60 years. अभी मैंने एक कंपनी में suggestion दिया. You can write down that you can be retired at 45, you can be retired at 50, you can retire at 55, you can retire at any time I wish, provided if you are meeting with those conditions. So you can have multiple years and a benchmark of you retiring. The people will talk about that later on. So what is not retrenchment? Now, this is what is important for all of us. Read it carefully. This is 200BB. I want you to spare time and read it 3-4 times. इसका फोटो खींचने की जरूरत नहीं. It is available in the first part of industrial dispute, where आप कोई भी कायदे में जाओ. Section 2 is always a definition. Section 2 is always a definition, and this is section 200 and double B. What does the double B says? This is double B. Abhi aap padho. I've removed everything. So what is it saying? Read it. Each word has got lot of meaning. Lot of meaning it has. So read it carefully. I'll read it for you. Termination of, again देखो termination आ गया. So you should be very clear what is it. ये शब्द का मतलब क्या है? Termination of services of the workman as a result of non-renewal of contract of employment. Abhi you have appointed me for 90 days. Okay, and 90 days के बाद you are not renewing my contract. What is the meaning? देखो कायदा is very specific, very perturbed, very crystal clear in writing and giving you and me an understanding that it is non-renewal of the contract of employment. So what is the meaning of that? The meaning is that you and me are given lot of freedom to decide contract of employment. Yes, no. Who decides? कायदे में कहीं लिखा नहीं है कि this should be the contract of employment, this should be the appointment letter, this should be the settlement. कहीं लिखा है? It is your and my freedom to decide contract of employment and a non-renewal thereof. इसका मतलब क्या होता है? Between employer and a workman concerned on its expiry. इसका मतलब क्या है? Before it expire or on the day of its expiry, being terminated under stipulation, on that we have contained therein. तो पूरा paragraph, पूरा contract, पूरा letter, everything you are supposed to decide. This is what? इसका मतलब क्या है? What is the meaning of that? This is not retrenchment. Retrenchment का definition में क्या आता है, क्या नहीं आता है? I have a question to you. कौन बताएगा मुझे? First is termination of employment for any reason whatsoever otherwise than disciplinary action. Yes? Correct. What is second? Second is what? देखो मुझे chronology में बताना. It's very easy and very convenient and very friendly for you to remember. Second is voluntary retirement. Very good, excellent. Third is reaching at the age of superannuation. Correct? Third is ये. This is third. और fourth क्या है? Termination of services of workman on a continued ill health, which is not retrenchment. समझे आप? So why I'm paying lot of attention, multiple times I'm repeating is these fixed term employment. Now you can understand in light of these paragraphs. अभी आप मुझे कनेक्ट करके बताओ व्हाट इज फिक्स टर्म एम्प्लॉयमेंट एंड डबल बी. The term is fixed. You are appointed on 3rd of July 2023 for a specific period of 1 year, which is ending on 1st of July 2024. Is that you supposed to write? Duration is, it's very right you said. But what is the second meaning of that? This is what I want you to interpret and tell me. इसका मतलब ये होता है.
End of contract is predefined.
Yes, this is an actual and a right interpretation that I know when I am going to be terminated. From the day one, I know my job in this company is only up to 1st of July 2024. हमने वो 29 का जो लिस्ट देखा, कहीं पे लिखा था यू कैन बी लेड ऑफ, यू कैन बी रिट्रेंच, यू कैन बी डिसमिस, यू कैन बी फैक्ट्री कैन बी क्लोज. कहीं लिखा था ऐसा? कहाँ कहाँ लिखा था? आउट ऑफ ऑल दोस 29 वर्ड्स दैट आई हैड शोन यू ऑन देयर ऑन द स्क्रीन, कहाँ पे लिखा था दैट आई कैन बी ऑफिशियली टर्मिनेटेड, माई सर्विसेज कैन बी रिलिंक्विश्ड, my tenure in this company is only up to that day? That's freedom given to you and me. From the day one, I know that my life in this company is up to this day only. So freedom given to you and me. Yes, she very rightly said, मुझे मालूम है. This is where the judiciary is talking about. That from the day one, the employee must know that when he will be terminated because of non-renewal of contract. यस? तो आपको क्या फायदा हुआ उसमें? You as an HR, IR, legal manager, what is the benefit to me, benefit to management, benefit to business, benefit to balance sheet, benefit to PAT? क्या फायदा हुआ? Liabilities कम हो गया. I know whenever I need this person I can employ, whenever I need he can be terminated, I can terminate him without you getting into hassle of a big sequence of actions to be taken for removing XYZ. Yes, no? अगर ये मान लो ये नहीं है, this provision is not there in 98, how will you remove people? How lengthy that procedure is? कितना लंबा हो जाए? I have to issue him a charge sheet, conduct an inquiry, get an evidence, ये वो, finding and report, give him a NOCO, 33 का approval लो, go to the labor court, then go to the higher court, and then go to the higher court, and finally you never know whether he will be reinstated or your action is good. Your action is either mala fide or bona fide. This is the 3-4 lines gives you and me great freedom. अभी अपना subject क्या है? What is our subject for discussion today? Fixed? No. उसके नीचे क्या लिखा था? Say more important than fixed term employment. उसके जो नीचे लिखा था was very important. Artificial break. और क्या लिखा था? Repeated appointments. देखो मैंने एक स्टेटमेंट दिया था पहले. We are not very familiar with the law. This is what a statement. But लोग को तो इसके ऊपर PhD करके रखा है. टर्मिनेट करने के बाद फिर से लेते हैं उसी बंदे को. I've terminated him, I've taken him back after 3-4 days. Again I've stipulated 1 year, 2005, 2025 तक 26 में वापस लिया, 27 में निकाल दिया. तो I know intricacies of law and I have started using the way I like, going against the bona fide intention of the law. This is what I am doing. So I withdraw my statement of telling you that you don't know law. You know कायदा आपने पूरा घोल मिल के उसको ऐसा यूज किया है so that मैंने इसको अपॉइंट किया निकाला, अपॉइंट किया निकाला, अपॉइंट किया निकाला. Now why we are doing that? करने से क्या फायदा हुआ? Can somebody tell? क्या फायदा हुआ? स्टैट्यूटरी पॉइंट से बचा नहीं है, फंस गया है उसमें. बचा कहाँ है? अब तो फंस गए.
बच्चा समझ के फंस गया.
हाँ, थोड़ा ज़्यादा समझ लिया. Whatever law explains, I have over digested, I have converted that into an overaction and I have put myself into a box where nobody can save me. I have judgments of a larger bench, 3 judges, 4 judges says that this is a mala fide intention. This is exactly against what law has prescribed. Okay, but why we are doing that? इसका जवाब जो देगा वो I'll give him a very big chocolate, a broad. क्यों ऐसा करते हैं? Why we repeatedly appoint people? Like I've appointed him for 1 year. और 10 दिन के बाद इनको बोला वापस आ जा. फिर से अपॉइंटमेंट किया, फिर से बोला 10 दिन के बाद वापस आ जा. Why I am doing that? What is the reason?
Maybe to escape from a continuous service clause.
Exactly. ये है ना, ये continuous service. ये भले ही 2 शब्द है, but it has lot of meaning. उसका intricacies बहुत ज़्यादा है. And 240 days सुना होगा आपने? सुना है 240 days? किसने सुना है? जरा हाथ ऊपर करो. 240 days. 12 लेबर लॉज में 12 से 15 कायदे ऐसे हैं जहाँ पे 240 days रिफ्लेक्ट होता है. If you complete 240 days, you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 benefits. So 240 days और continuous service का मतलब क्या है? किसी को मालूम है? Or you want me to explain? Yes, I should do that. Okay, definition of a continuous service बहुत बड़ा है. It's too big a definition and हमारे मतलब के लिए 2 डेफिनेशन का हम पृथक्करण एनालिसिस करेंगे. What is that? One is a definition enumerated there in Industrial Disputes Act 1947, and second is the same definition with some changes mentioned there in a Payment of Gratuity Act section 2A, जिनके ये सब master है. He is practically handling all of this. Okay, so there are two definitions of continuous service with some changes, because Graduate is Social Security Act, this is a different act. The intention of this act is different, the intention of a Gratuity Act is different. Objectives are different. So what is continuous service? Can somebody read? कोई पढ़ेगा? Workman shall be said to be in a continuous service for a period if, क्या if का मतलब क्या हुआ? If का मतलब हुआ conditional, okay, for that period in uninterrupted service. What is the meaning by uninterrupted? क्या meaning हुआ? जिसमें इंटरप्शन नहीं है. तो इंटरप्शन कौन कौन से वजह से हो सकता है? इंक्लूडिंग सर्विस विच में बी इंटरप्टेड ऑन अकाउंट ऑफ सिकनेस. बंदा बीमार हो गया तो देन इट इज इंटरप्टेड. सेकेंड इज व्हाट? ऑथोराइज लीव. थर्ड इज एन एक्सीडेंट. फोर्थ इज फिफ्थ इज लॉकआउट. नॉट ऑन अ फॉल्ट ऑफ अ वर्कमैन. उसका गलती नहीं है. अभी स्ट्राइक मेरा गलती है या नहीं, लॉकआउट मेरा गलती है या नहीं, ये कब प्रूव होगा? आज आपने स्ट्राइक डिक्लेयर कर दिया, व्हेन विल इट बी प्रूव्ड वेदर इट इज इलीगल एंड अनजस्टिफाइड? कितना टाइम लगेगा? ओ 10 साल 15 साल, आई यू नेवर नो. यस नो. तो ये कंटिन्यूस सर्विस में वो बंदा है या नहीं, दिस विल बी प्रूव्ड व्हेन? मे बी आफ्टर 10-15 years. So if I have a question to you friends, if you want to implement this particular section 25B का 1 को implement करना है practically on a shop floor, तो आपको क्या करना पड़ेगा? Say, whenever you feel like implementing some or the other law on the shop floor, it cannot be directly copied and pasted. You'll have to convert your own strategy in line with the objectives set for that particular act, read these clauses and make a strategy out of it and then implement. जैसे sickness को interruption में डालना है, कैसे डालेंगे? This is a homework that you can take. It's a sickness. I've fallen sick for 29 days. How will you convert those 29 days for interruption? कैसे करेंगे? I want to establish that the sickness that you had is within the purview of law and either your services can be continued or discontinued. Interrupted, not interrupted. कैसे करेंगे? I have a modus operandi ready with me, but we will do it when a time comes. Okay? So the second part of this, when a workman is not a gunner winning clause, this is 1 year 6 months. अभी इसमें there are two levels. If you are working below ground, जैसे mines में आपने काम किया, then the parameters are different. It is 190 days, and when you are above ground, then you are 240 days. अभी इसका FTA के साथ क्या कनेक्शन है? डबल बी के साथ क्या कनेक्शन है? See, these laws, sections and everything is interconnected, interdependent, interconnected. अच्छा, इंटरप्शन हो गया तो उसका क्या फ़ायदा है, और इंटरप्शन नहीं हुआ तो उसका क्या फ़ायदा एज अ प्रैक्टिशनर ऑफ अ मैनेजमेंट. So these are all questions which will remain unreplied, but you can note down in a diary and then you create the strategy convenient to your culture. Okay, and then take next action. Now I have highlighted here actually worked. क्या मतलब हुआ उसका? 240 days, this is available there in the act, and the only thing is that ये actually word का मतलब क्या है, इसमें लिखा है देखो, you can read that. One is physical presence. What next? One is clear-cut understanding that there is a physical presence. What next? Actually work means why you go to office, why you go to work? Not to get money. The simple understanding is that to get money you go to office. But you, without going to office, you get money. Looks slightly ridiculous, no? How can you get money without you going to office? Yes, you get money without you going to office for paid holidays. एक साल में 9-10 दिन होते हैं for which you are paid but you are not going to office. और दिवाली, होली वगैरह वगैरह, 25, 14 अगस्त वगैरह वगैरह. You are not going to office but you are, yes, no. और क्या है? You get a leave. You fill up leave to get a salary. Yes? और क्या होता है? You don't go to office but you get a salary. One is paid holiday, second is leave. What else? Weekly off. Yes, you don't go to office but you get salary. They are all part of 240 days. In addition to what? I want you to remember this. In addition to what? In addition to sickness. आगे क्या लिखा था? Sickness, lockout, you get even strike wages if you win the case. So that also is paid, provided if you issue an interruption notice. ये management skill है. Yes, no. So these are all questions which will remain unreplied, but you can design a strategy out of it and convert that into an action plan and design इसको करना क्या है. Now, for example, you have 900 employees in the factory with typical and atypical workforce, तो उनका 240 days कैसे maintain करेंगे? For example, he is a general manager, vice president in HR, he will have to impart training to his staff कि किसका 240 days होता है नहीं होता है मेरे को बताओ. Yes, that is the first second you are supposed to give it to your staff and impart the training कि इसको करना है, इसको नहीं करना, इसको करना, इसको नहीं करना. And whosoever complete 200 days, just raise an alarm. Okay, whosoever is absent, tell me. Whosoever is sick, tell me. Whosoever is XYZ, tell me. Then you design modus operandi and then you induce artificial break. What is the meaning of artificial? It has nothing to do with artificial intelligence per se. It is completely different. So you'll have to induce a system through which you interrupt service, encase on that and reappoint. This is again a malified action which is not tenable in the eyes of law and judiciary goes against. Okay, so we'll move on to the next. Okay, continuous service viewpoint significant. अभी देखो continuous service का हमने definition तो पढ़ लिया. See, why I am investing time in explaining you what is 2OOBB. Why I am investing time in making sure that you understand continuous service by way of section 25B of industrial dispute. This is what the law says. ये कायदे ने बताया. अभी कायदे का interpretation क्या है? Who decides? Somebody will have to decide. इसका मतलब क्या है? Uninterrupted, sickness, strike, lockout, not on my fault. ये कौन डिसाइड करेगा? And who is an authority to tell you yes this is this? It is not of course you and me to tell, because your and my decision is supposed to be there in the judiciary. Somebody is claiming, he is a union guy saying आपने गलत किया. So judiciary says what? These are all judiciary interpretation of 240 days derived from 7 different Supreme Court judgment and understanding and interpretation of what 240 days is. अभी पढ़ेंगे हम. Continuous laws into defined industrial dispute is to be interpreted as a workman as put in 240 days during 12 calendar months. क्या इंपॉर्टेंट है इसमें? व्हाट इज इंपॉर्टेंट हियर इज 12 कैलेंडर मंथ्स. इसका मतलब क्या होता है? This say you when you read a law, the very good thing in the law is it uses a very simple language. Very simple language. Yes, no. इसका मतलब क्या हुआ? 12 कैलेंडर मंथ्स. कोई एग्जाम्पल देके समझाया? फॉर एग्जाम्पल टुडे माई सर्विसेज आर टर्मिनेटेड. तो 240 दिन कहाँ से गिनना है? बैकवर्ड फ्रॉम द डे आई एम टर्मिनेटेड. ओके, गो रिवर्स. इसमें 12 कैलेंडर मंथ्स. 12 क्या लिखा है इसमें? 12 कैलेंडर मंथ्स. ईयर नहीं लिखा है इसमें. तो इसका मतलब ईयर भी हुआ ना. 12 कैलेंडर का मतलब क्या हुआ? व्हाट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ 12 कैलेंडर मंथ्स? इज एन ईयर ओनली. एक साल में 12 महीने होते हैं. तो व्हाई इज इट नॉट रिटन 1 ईयर? व्हाई इट इज रिटन 12 मंथ्स? ईयर कितने तरह के होते हैं मेरे को बताओ. एक वन इज द कैलेंडर ईयर, सेकंड इज द फाइनेंशियल ईयर, थर्ड इज एकेडमिक ईयर, द फोर्थ इज एन असेसमेंट ईयर. कितने सारे. वन इज एन अप्रेजल ईयर, जून टू जुलाई टू जून. कितने सारे साल हैं एक साल के अंदर. व्हाई इट इज रिटन 12 मंथ्स? So it is not a calendar year, it is a calendar month. You have to count 240 days going backward from the date of termination. This is what an understanding judiciary has given after seeing 25B. One understanding. He shall be deemed to be have completed 1 year. देखो अभी year अभी आया. Year कब आया? After it has enumerated what 12 calendar month is. Clear? So when you ask your people to take a record of 240 days, where will you start from? Where will you end? This is what the understanding this is giving. Second, in another case it has been told that 240 is 12 calendar months, meaning beginning from the day of any month of any year and starting in the next. तो कहीं से भी ये शुरू होगा और कहीं पे भी ये खत्म होगा. प्रोवाइडेड इफ क्या? प्रोवाइडेड इफ इट इज 12 मंथ. इट इज नॉट 11, 10, 9, 4, नथिंग, एंड नॉट इवन अ 13 मंथ. नेवर गो अप, नेवर गो अबाउट, बट 12 मंथ स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम. दिस इज व्हाट द जुडिशियरी, ये कहीं से मैंने अभ्यास करके इकट्ठा किया है. इज फॉर योर बेनिफिट. What is next? Unpaid Sundays, unpaid. What is important here is the days on which you are not paid. Okay? And holidays cannot be taken because neither I have received salary nor I have worked. Therefore, it is not to be taken for computing 200. For reckoning condition, it is to be moved backward from the date of termination. ये बताया मैंने आपको. So this is first I have explained you 200BB. Second I have explained you what 25B. Then I have explained you what is enumerated there in the law interpreted by Supreme Court. ये मैंने High Court क्यों नहीं लिया है? Because there are probabilities that High Court's decision will get changed, modified, altered by the superior authority. Okay? So therefore, 200 continues not rebutted, disproved. Means what? What is the meaning? He is claiming he has completed 240 days and filed a case for XYZ reason. But I am not defending me as a management. मैं इनका विरोध नहीं कर रहा हूं. इफ आई एम डूइंग दैट इट इज ग्रांटेड. इफ आई एम नॉट अपोजिंग द क्लेम दैट ही हैज मेड, तो it is accepted that he हैज completed 240 days. What next? No relief will be granted to open for 239 days. 240 का एक कम है, एक, just one. But no relief will be granted to the person who has completed 239 days. See the level of accuracy. Whose accuracy it is? ये किसका accuracy है? It is your and my homework telling that it is not 240 days, it is 239 days. So see the level of accuracy of HR person handling this job. Kitna there is a thin margin between the two. Okay, then no relief, he has in that daily wages have worked for more than 200 were entitled to job seeker under 240 days. तो daily wages जिसको हम रोज बुलाते हैं रोज भगाते हैं. So he has a job security under this. Now what is that? अच्छा ये हाई कोर्ट भी है इसमें. So these are 7 different judgments जो मैंने आपको 7 bullets दिखाया is derived from these particular 7 judgments. Okay, I have got almost 100-150 judgment talking about what 240 days. Have you digested all this? It's going little tough.
The previous slides also. How about unpaid Sundays and holidays? That means all the other than week of
No. Say wages basically, if you see, the definition of wages says it is daily wages. Every day you are paying. And you are not paying for weekly off, you are paying them for 26 days. Okay? Yes, no?
Yes.
What is the meaning of that? Meaning of that is you are not paid for the rest of the 4 days.
Right.
Okay, whatever is your weekly off staggered. But you are not paid for weekly off, they are not to be counted. And holidays, there are certain holidays which are not paid. ठीक है, कहीं ना कहीं कुछ एग्रीमेंट में होता है, we will give you paid 9 holidays, but we will give you 3 additional non-paid holidays. This is what is arrived at in the settlement with the workman. So you are given 12 holidays, but 9 are paid, 3 are not paid. They are this. Unpaid holidays. जैसे हमारा फैक्ट्री में there are 12 holidays, but of them 9 are paid. This is how it is settled with the workman, union rather. Okay, so they are not to be counted. Yes, sir.
Minimum wages is counted on all the 30 days.
Yes, minimum wage is compulsory. देखो minimum wages से कुछ भी कम नहीं देना है.
Sir, my point is that there is no unpaid Sundays.
There are no unpaid Sundays.
No unpaid Sundays.
So they are all paid. Sundays are paid.
Paid.
They are paid. But what I am saying is slightly different than what he is saying is when you agree in the settlement that all Sundays will be paid or not paid. This is what it is.
Sir, it is a provision in the Minimum Wages Act.
Okay.
All days are paid.
All days are paid.
All days.
If it is not paid, they are not counted. This is what the judgment. अभी ये जो judgment आया है is dependent on the facts and circumstances of that particular organization. कुछ organization में ऐसा होगा where it is unpaid. It is, I think, it is in Municipal Corporation Delhi versus this LLR 1993. You can read that Delhi High Court. ये कहीं पढ़ लेना आप. These you can get into details under what circumstances the weekly offs are not paid. Those facts and circumstances you can get into. Okay, any question on this? Any question on this? कुछ नहीं समझा, ज़्यादा समझा, कम समझा, और समझना है, रिपीट करो. Because these two are the basis on which fixed term employment and artificial breaks are dependent on.
So what about suspense days?
Suspension days. Suspension days are paid.
For which are,
You, for example, you are suspended pending inquiry. I am giving you subsistence allowance. એને ગુજરાતીમાં કહેવાય, they are paid because એને નિર્વાહ ભથ્થું કહેવાય સ્પષ્ટ ગુજરાતીમાં. For sustaining your life, you are paid 50% or 75%, whatever. So they are paid. Any other question? बच्चे लोगों को पूछना है कुछ या प्लीज. हाँ, डेली वेजर में मैटरनिटी लीव इज एप्लीकेबल. हाँ, मैटरनिटी लीव वहीं से मत निकालना. इट इज अ बर्थ राइट ऑफ अ वुमन. इट्स अ बर्थ राइट. Let her be a daily wager, let her be a part-time employee, let her be whatever. Whether her terms and conditions are implied or whatever. Whether you are paying them honorary or you are paying them salary or whatever you are paying in terms of money or monetary or non-monetary. Maternity benefit is a birthright of a woman. वो कहीं से निकालना मत. Sorry?
Maternity leave is including 240 or
Yes, maternity leave is paid and therefore it is included. अभी आप उसको डिक्लूड करेंगे तो शायद मुझे लगता है सर कैन गाइड अस, इट विल बी अ क्रिमिनल ऑफेंस. फौजदारी गुनो बने सर. यस नो, इट इज़ अ फौजदारी गुनो. FIR भी फाइल થઈ શકે.
इसमें तो ऑर्डर निकलता है डायरेक्टली ऑर्डर.
हाँ, एट डायरेक्ट ऑर्डर निकल सकता है. So gratuity, basically we will go to that definition of gratuity slightly different. Okay, and this is how it is. Maternity benefit is applicable to બધાને લાગુ પડે છે. All women they have a birthright.
Even for the contractual women employees.
Contractual women employee બધાને લાગુ પડે છે. Principal employer is liable. It's very good input. Contractor is not. If the contractor fails to comply with that, then the principal employer ની જવાબદારી બને છે. Okay. Can we move on to the next? Any other question?
Between 2023 to 24, if we remove anyone, it is to be considered as an
Sorry, come again.
23 થી 24 ની વર્ષમાં જે હાયરિંગ પીરિયડ જે છે ફિક્સ તમે એમાં in between કોઈને જો આપણે
Yes,
remove
you
કરીએ,
can. Very good question. In fact, what he says is, he has appointed me from 2nd of July 2023 to 1st of July 24. But can I be terminated in between? The answer is yes. The reason is, I am a workman as classified under Industrial Employment Standing Orders Act. If I commit some mistake, if I get into a misconduct, then I can be charge sheeted and the management has got all right to initiate a disciplinary action and take the subsequent actions. Okay, so you can initiate, that is within your right. And if you otherwise terminate, I am going a little ahead, and as per the clause of the appointment letter, if you terminate him without you stipulating a misconduct, and later on after going to court, अगर वो बंदा ऐसा कहता है कि this termination is a stigma attached, then you will have a case. Okay, and I had a question to a fraternity like you, one very simple question, and an answer of that is really very difficult. Who knows law better? કાયદો સૌથી સારો કોને આવે? The government official is an advocate, a consultant, an HR practitioner. કોને કાયદો સારો આવે છે? Is a student, is a professor? Who is the person who knows law much better? Is that judiciary? Who knows law better? And the answer is very simple. The supervisor, the union leader, he knows law better than you. He puts us into much trouble than. Huh?
Right, very much right.
He knows law. He knows not only a law, but he knows even where to twist, where to encash, where are the loopholes, and he is very brilliant in finding out कि क्या थी रस्तो काढ़. If you need to learn 240 days more authentic faculty than me is that person. He knows left कहाँ जाना, right कहाँ. So better call that union guy, make him a faculty, and then you learn, you will have a different connotation, understanding, interpretation, conceptualization of these particular lines. You'll have a different understanding. The reason is, I was explaining to the fraternity like you, India has got 755 districts. કેટલા જિલ્લા છે ઇન્ડિયામાં? 755. So there are 755 minimum labor codes. Yes, no, each district has minimum one labor code. Each district has one tribunal. Each district has one assistant commissioner of labor. Each district has two government labor officers. Each district has minimum 10 union leaders. Each district has minimum 100 companies. Each district has one PF office. Each district has one civil code. Though civil code is not interested to enter into labor dispute, but sometimes they do. Okay. So एक कायदाનું એક એક વ્યાખ્યાનું એક ડેફિનેશનનું પૃથક્કરણ કરનારા લોકો કેટલા કેટલા બધા લોકો 755 tribunal, 755 labor court, 755 assistant labor commission, and finally who is right? Nobody knows. There are 29 high courts, yes? Above them there is a Supreme Court. Above them there is a larger bench. You never know who is right and wrong. It's better that you have your own understanding, design your own modus operandi, and then you design whether you are two things, either mala fide intention or your intention is a bona fide. You become a judge of your own actions and then try to conclude whether fixed term employee is to be used for the benefit of employee, for the benefit of union, for the benefit of X, Y, Z from multiple stakeholders. You decide where would you like to go. Okay, so we'll move on to next. Subsequent to an amendment in the year 1984, 2003 is the year where certified standing orders, central rules, they came out with a specific definition of fixed term employment. This is what is produced I have for you. Section 2H inserted on 4th of September 2000, it is 4 I think, 2003. This is what a specific definition given by Central Rules of Industrial Employment Standing Orders Act. Okay, so what is that? A fixed term employment is a workman who has been engaged on a basis of contract of employment. देखो यहाँ पे भी हमें freedom मिला है. Even we are supposed to decide contract of employment. कहीं पे भी contract of employment का draft labor laws में नहीं है मेरे ज्ञान के मुताबिक. It is you and me who are supposed to decide contract of employment and terms and conditions thereof which is agreeable to you and me. मैं कुछ भी बोलूँ आपको, I am not supposed to act as a dictator. It is you and me who are supposed to agree to X, Y, Z. That becomes the contract of employment. Yes? Okay, the next one is, however, his working hours, wages, allowances and all other benefits shall not be less than a permanent. कुछ भी उसको कम देना नहीं है. This is what a parity, this is what the law of equilibrium in the benefit and salary and wages and whatnot. So this is what you are supposed to, there are terms and conditions which are written in little words. It should be taken care when you design contract of employment. Okay. Then he also shall be eligible for statutory benefits as a permanent workman proportionately. क्या लिखा है इसमें? What is the meaning of proportionate is? What is the meaning of proportionate is? देखो आगे लिखा है. According to the period of service rendered by those period of permanence not accident qualifying period of. देखो कहीं ना कुछ बेनिफिट के लिए क्वालिफाइंग पीरियड इज एन्यूमरेटेड देयर इन. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, यू गेट अ ग्रेजुएट इफ यू वर्क फॉर हाउ मेनी ईयर्स? 5 years? No, it is not. 4 years and 240 days is actually not a rule.
But by way of
No, by way of? No, it is by way of judiciary's interpretation. Why? Because gratuity may be 240 days continuous service का definition दिया हुआ है. And therefore court is saying that the 5th year or whatever year out of 5 years, if you have completed 240 days, you should be paid gratuity. Yes, no? There are at least 10 judgments which I know where it is said that 240 days in the last year gratuity should be paid. अभी इसका मतलब इधर क्या होता है? The meaning here is that if he works here for 1 year, 1.5 years, 2 years or whatever, then he should be paid proportionately, which I have highlighted. He should not be deprived of the benefits flowing from the legislature. This is what the definition. अभी ये तो सेंट्रल हो गया. अभी what is it the Gujarat state is saying? ये गुजरात में भी amendment आ गया, which came in the year 2006. Immediately after 2003, state of Gujarat has amended and the definition is one and same. उसमें कुछ भी नया R&D किया नहीं है. All lines, dots, commas is one and same. Simply it has been brought, and the Gujarat state is the first state across India जो पहले ये लेके आया. And there are many companies who started working on this, and they are creating a balance in the balance sheet using this. अभी कोई सवाल है तो पूछो. Based on the question that you raise, you ask me, मुझे confidence आएगा आपने बराबर समझा है. We have 15 minutes to go. Yeah, please.
फिक्स टर्म एम्प्लॉयमेंट में अगर मैं रिन्यूअल करता जाता हूँ एग्रीमेंट और फिर मान लो किसी का 5 साल हो गए तो उसको ग्रेजुटी एप्लीकेबल
उसको तो पहले ही साल से हो जाएगी. हाँ, even if he has worked for 1 year, you should pay him gratuity. It is written here proportionately statutory qualifying period, even if it is less.
सो ऑल बेनिफिट लाइक बोनस
कुछ भी बोनस ग्रेजुटी आप उसका एक पैसा कम नहीं कर सकते.
Bonus 30 days में.
अब bonus is, of course he has worked for 1 year, so he'll get a bonus. Obviously, if he has worked for less than 30 days, bonus नहीं मिलेगा उसको. That qualifying period is there. That's a basic qualifying period. And salary wages दोनों 7,500, 3,500 कौन सा है? I used to calculate previously. अभी that ceiling is still maintained. Though it is now under a code given to a state government, it was centrally decided. Now this will be decided when the code gets implemented. This will be decided by respective state. This is what a change is there in the bonus. Okay.
Fixed term employment is for 3 years only.
Sorry?
The fixed term employment is 3 years only.
No.
Suppose we give the employment of 3 years and we do not renew. Then he is eligible for gratuity for 3 years?
Yes.
You have to pay the
Yeah. This is what it says. It's crystal clear.
Not for fixed term.
Not for the fixed term, permanent employee. He joined the company and he superannuated before 5 years. So whether he is entitled for gratuity?
No. देखो आपका सवाल बहुत वैलिड है. Now the question which I have raised, the input which I gave you, that what kind of instructions you are giving it to your timekeeper is more important than getting into details of this. Because, for example, you have employed me this year, and this year itself I have not completed 240 days for the purpose of payment of gratuity. आप क्या करेंगे? What instruction will give to your timekeeper HR executive? For creating a break, if I have not completed to establish an uninterruption, you are supposed to follow disciplinary action, issue him an order of termination and an order of new appointment. The break is to be created following provisions of Industrial Employment Standing Orders Act, and you give him all opportunity to defend himself following all principles of natural justice, and then you establish ये break है. This is not artificial break, this is the natural break. मैंने आपको explain किया था. This is, I explained you what is artificial. This is not artificial, this is a natural break, provided if you establish that, giving him all opportunity to defend himself and prove using principles of natural justice. And if you issue him an order of interruption, then you are not supposed to pay him gratuity for that year. The process is very, this is what exactly a role of HR is. हम कितने लोगों को 240 days नहीं होने के बाद भी gratuity देते हैं, is our inefficiency. This is where money is in HR. This HR in money is this.
Suppose during
You, instead of 10 years, if you pay 4 years gratuity, you have saved. Is saved because you were competent enough to prove that rest of the 6 years you were under break, technically proven, established. Let him challenge. वो challenge करने के लिए दुनिया में 10 लोग पड़े हैं.
It is very much clearly every completed year for 240
Every completed year with actually work.
Actually work, yeah.
Actually worked with hands and spanners. ये hands and spanners is a word which is used by Supreme Court in the judgment called Lalappa Lingappa in the year 1959. Supreme Court larger bench पढ़ लेना आप लिखो. Lalappa Lingappa in the year 1959 specifically talking about what actually worked is that judgment is fully centered around on that word, the larger bench.
Actually, it means actual working, not including Sundays, holidays. Gratuity. While calculating the gratuity, actual present days. That only should be completed 42.
Agreed, I fully agree. I am talking about interruption. से मैंने आपको क्या बताया? His challenge, if is not rebutted, not challenged, not defended, it is 240 days.
240 days, what that is different for what we done. I am talking about the specifically gratuity purpose. We should not include week off, then.
If it is unpaid.
Yeah, it is not paid.
If holidays, if it is
even
not.
It is paid, even it is paid. Holidays, week off.
That is included.
That is included.
Yes.
During gratuity also.
Yes.
Or for calculating.
Yes. Gratuity का और 25B का definition.
Definition is fixed for in gratuity payment or.
Yes. See, what is the difference between 25B and 2A is only one.
Yeah.
Only one. And that is that in case of interruption, you are supposed to issue him an order following industrial employment standing orders and the principle of natural justice and issue him an order that your services are interrupted, and when he is eligible for gratuity, you show him that order. You are not eligible for that year. उसके लिए कवायद करनी पड़ती है. मैं बोलता हूँ मजूरी करनी पड़ती है. In a simple
That means whether
yes,
it's a
sir.
permanent employee, staff,
Whosoever he may be, whosoever he may
He
be,
only completed
240 days
each year.
each year.
Right? If out of 10 years, he will be eligible for 5 years.
5 years?
Yeah, 5 years.
For rest of the 5 years, you are supposed to issue an order that for rest of the 5 years you are not eligible. And there is a break in service. Break in service का certificate is to be issued subject to his challenging 240. Number one. Number two is, जैसे मैंने आपको बोला, you have not completed 240 days. Who is supposed to prove?
Management.
You know, there are judgments which says it is
Okay, workman, sorry.
it is workman if you are. देखो मैं आपके ऊपर दावा कर दूं कि आपने मेरा पेन चुराया है, तो who is supposed to prove? It is me because I have alleged you. Whosoever is alleging the other person, the alleging person is supposed to prove that his allegations are right. मैं तो इनके ऊपर 40 आक्षेप लगा दूंगा, वो भाई भी 40 लगाएंगे. Where will that person go? It is the person जो आक्षेप लगाता है is supposed to prove that he is right. उसमें एक exception है. There is Supreme Court judgment. If that person is an illiterate, there is a lady sweeper who doesn't even is in a position to calculate what it is. In that case, management is supposed to. Because she is there are limitations. The court understand कि कुछ नहीं आता है, अक्षर ज्ञान नहीं है, कुछ नहीं आता है, not कुछ भी आता नहीं. In that case, the onus lies on your head. There are exceptions. तो इसमें एक ही exception है. Okay. Hope people have understood. Any questions? So now artificial break comes. अब ये subject तो बाकी रहेगा. What is artificial break? पूछो जितना सवाल पूछना है, please.
फिक्स टर्म एम्प्लॉयमेंट में किसी का एम्प्लॉयमेंट अभी क्लोज होने वाला है और 15 डेज पहले उसने कुछ कंपनी की कोड ऑफ कंडक्ट या पॉलिसी को,
तो भी you have to initiate disciplinary action. अगर आपने disciplinary action initiate नहीं करके terminate किया, and while terminating that person, if that person alleges that his termination is a stigma attached, his termination is due to some misconduct and he has not been given an opportunity to defend himself as per industrial employment standing orders, then you are in trouble.
डिसिप्लिनरी एक्शन में सर 15 डेज के बाद अगर उसका फिक्स टर्म क्लोज होने वाला है तो रिन्यूअल करना पड़ेगा या
No. Renewal नहीं करना है. He will get First you will issue him a disciplinary action notice, and on completion of 15 days, after 15 days, he is automatically terminated. ऐसा नहीं है कि मैं 15 दिनों के बाद 3-4 मिसकंडक्ट करूंगा तो आई कैन बी कंटिन्यू. नो, it is not like that. It is not like that. हाँ, inquiry will continue for 15 days. Thereafter you can drop the inquiry because he is no more the employer. Okay. Any other question? Kuch?
So, will it be in a conclusion part, sir? After completion of that particular contract period, how would that particular disciplinary action which has been already initiated?
That happens nothing.
Does that
Correct. This is again where your and my efficiency is to complete disciplinary action within 15 days. Number one. Number two is why you want to issue him a termination letter on that last day. Why you want to issue him a letter of termination when he completes his tenure? Why you are waiting for the last day to come and issue him? When you give him an appointment letter, that day itself you give him a termination letter કે 31મી માર્ચ 2014 ના રોજ તમારી નોકરી ગઈ. Why you are waiting for last day to come? What I am doing is this. From the day one when I appoint him, I give him a termination. This is called automatic termination. Your services stands terminated the day you complete your tenure. Okay, you will not be issued a separate termination letter on completion of the tenure getting completed on 2nd of July 2024. So, you first is that you make your life easy. If somebody forgets, હું ભૂલી ગયો, 2nd July 2020, I forgot to issue him a letter. No worries. Let him go. It's a natural full and final settlement. Pay him 15 days more salary. No issues. 15 દિવસનો વધારે પગાર આપીને relieve him. This is what is called proactiveness in HRIR. You can do it provided if you have digested law very well, provided if you have digested the judiciary very well, provided if you have understood law, judiciary and the circumstances that are there in the company. Your job is a sequence of events connecting to and finally proving that your action is a bona fide. Sorry. તો પહેલે જ દિવસે આપી દેવાનું ટર્મિનેશન. Now, હજી પણ એક પ્રશ્ન which I am waiting for you people to ask me, then it will give me a confidence that you have understood it very well. What is that? I am waiting for that question.
સર કોઈ કેન્ડિડેટ રિટાયર થયેલો હોય અને એને આપણે પછી ફિક્સ ટર્મ એપોઇન્ટમેન્ટમાં રાખીએ તો આપણે કઈ રીતે સ્ટેચ્યુટરી
ફરી બોલો.
Retirement age પર fixed term
એપોઇન્ટમેન્ટ કરીએ તો એના માટે કયા સ્ટેચ્યુટરી પોઈન્ટ ઓફ વ્યૂ આપણે ધ્યાન રાખવું?
કોઈ સ્ટેટ્યુટરી પોઈન્ટમાં ધ્યાન રાખવાનું. You are appointing me for XYZ. You are on a right track. I want you to ask me a next question. Somebody can frame a question next to that and then ask me question. Then I'll understand. હા, મારું 3 કલાકની મહેનત બરાબર છે. Why you are doing that? I am appointing her for 1 year, giving break for 3 months, 2 months, 1 day, 15 days. Again I am appointing. Why I am doing that? એ પ્રશ્ન મને પૂછો. Why I am doing that? What is the reason behind giving you a repeated breaks? થોડું હજી એક આગળ, એક સ્ટેપ. You are on a right track. You both of you are on a right track. One more. I'll move little faster. Areas of concern.
Permanency right.
Yes, exactly. You have a fear that he will sit on my head till 58 years and I have no other way but you become my liability. To make sure, if taking precautions, you are not appointing me, you are not giving me an appointment of a break આપ્યા જ કરે છે. So that you remain on my role and you are not mine. This is malified action. Management, some way or the other, is trying to safeguard themselves from what? People becoming permanent. Yes, no. This is a major liability which employer feels. You as an HR person can have a different stand. But you don't want a permanent liability. This is where the first slide comes, hire and fire. This is where from we started.
Yeah.
What is the meaning of hire? You taking me on roll. Fire is what? You getting rid of me. You're not allowing me to sit on management heights for till the year I reach to 58 and 60 years or whatever. So, in doing so, issuing repeated appointment, you want that person, but you don't want that person. You don't want that person to claim permanency, but you want that person. Reason is, એને બહુ સારું કામ કરતા આવડે છે. He is an scarce commodity. Okay, so this is what malified intention is. I don't want you to become permanent, but I want you. How can there be two things? If you want him permanently, appoint him. પણ થાય શું that when I want to get rid of you, કેટલી લાંબી એક્શન મારે લેવી પડે. It's very difficult for management and HR person to get rid of. Okay, this is what exactly a manpower planning and a man management is. We have seen all those 29 bullets. હવે મને એવું કહો કે out of those 29, which one you can administer and how difficult it is, and where you have a mastery, where you have a specialization. कहाँ पे है? Even if you have a specialization, if you have expertise, you will never feel like doing that job. Yes, you can do this job, but you know, very smartly getting away from મને નથી આવડતું. Or maybe because of XYZ, you get out of that particular job. That difficult job. There are books and books available on how you get rid of people and how difficult it is. Okay. So now what we are supposed to do? What do you think what you supposed to do? It's already 12 o'clock. Can we pull on for 15 minutes? Is that interesting? Yes. શીખવા મળ્યું કંઈ? Much interesting. Huh? Yes? Much interesting. Sorry? Okay. Oh, thank you, sir. So, consecutive appointment में complain हो सकता है. There can be people, there can be unions, there can be, I explained you Bajaj Auto. उसमें कितना unfair labor practice का complaint हुआ, the 2,300 complaints were filed before the court for unfair labor practices. And summary of 2,300 complaints is 1998 बजाज ऑटो जजमेंट वर्सेस, उसका नाम मैं आपको दिखाऊंगा, आरपी सावंत वर्सेस 1998. आरपी सावंत, उसके बाद गोपीनाथ का जजमेंट है, उसके बाद 13 का थर्ड जजमेंट है. 3 जजमेंट टॉकिंग. अभी आपने अगर ये 3 जजमेंट पढ़ लिया, यू कैन स्टैंड अप हियर एंड गेट रिड ऑफ मी. यू कैन बिकम अ फैकल्टी. इज दैट गुड सुप्रीम कोर्ट लार्जर बेंच जजमेंट ऑफ 3 बजाज ऑटो जजमेंट. 3. But इसमें इंडस्ट्रियल एम्प्लॉयमेंट स्टैंडिंग ऑर्डर्स के सिवा there is one more act which is applicable because it is in Maharashtra Trade Union, MRTU and PULP. Maharashtra Recognition of Trade Union and Unfair Labor Practices Act 1962 or whatever is the year, I don't know. It's specifically meant for making sure that there are no unfair labor practices, and specifically applicable only in Maharashtra. So if you read those 3 judgments, you will understand what exactly is. The next one is 17B. This is again a provision in the Industrial Dispute Act 1947. When you are winning in the lower court, and if the employee feels like going to higher court, then under 17B you are supposed to pay him last drawn wages till the time the matter is finally decided. So अगर हाई कोर्ट में ये मैटर 5 साल चलता है तो you have to pay him for 5 years the last drawn wages. इसका आपने कहीं मैन पावर प्लानिंग में बजटिंग नहीं किया होगा, आई एम वेरी श्योर. Do you have a budget for this? Do you have a budget for advocate? Do you have a budget for 17B? No? Then it is all reflection of your and my inefficiency. तो अगर उसका last drawn salary is 10,000, then you'll have to pay 60 months or whatever months that continues. This is what a liability is supposed to be. Then ULP is what? Unfair labor practice. Again, this is Faujdari Guno. This is again, okay, it's a criminal matter. Either inquiry you have to complete, then repeated appointment, different. ये इसमें करना क्या है? What we normally do is when we issue an appointment letter, एक ही लेटर का जेरोक्स करके सबको दे देते हैं. I mean, this is a ground reality. But each category, each person has to be a different appointment letter. You simply cannot download from internet and issue to John Johnson and Chagan and whosoever comes. No, it is a different set of norms you are deciding for different person. Be careful. Design, give your professional input when you decide terms and condition of employment. Okay. Then with similar terms, conditions, period of break, etc. देखो, when we give a break, we knowingly or unknowingly establish that the malified action that we have taken has uniformity. Because you don't have one FTA, you have 50 FTA रखा है, 50 के साथ हम ऐसा ही करते हैं, तो उसका gravity is too huge. So your malpractices continue not for 1-2 persons, for people together, big masses. Then you are really into trouble. Okay. To justify why you are giving break, what is the justification? If I am giving a break to her for 9 days, उनको 10 दिन, उनको 12 दिन, उनको 15 दिन, उनको 1 महीना, उनको 2 महीना, how do I justify before the judiciary that my action of giving them a break is justified within the framework? How it is fair and just? Do you have a logic? Do you have a reasoning? How will you justify your right? Okay, because कोई नहीं पूछेगा तो judiciary तो पूछेगा आपको, why you are doing that? And there is a uniformity in inaction. गलत कर रहे हो उसमें भी uniformity है. You are left with no choice but to get defended. Okay. The abrupt decision, 240 days, this is what a malified intention is. Okay. And this is what Bajaj Auto gives you a lot of learning on that. Separate appointment letters or an extension letter. For example, आपने मेरे को अपॉइंट किया 1 साल के लिए, उसके बाद क्या करते हैं आप? You simply give your service are extended for 1 more year. एक कागज में 2 लाइन लिख के साइन करके दे दिया, मेरा काम खत्म हुआ. Is very dangerous. Should we do that?
No.
Oh, what is it that we are supposed to do? करना क्या है? मैंने आपको एक No. What I have done is I have appointed you for 1 year. On 2nd of July 2024, your service stands terminated, but I want you again. So what normally happens? No, what normally happens is I am giving you an extension letter that your service are extended for 1 more year. Instead of me giving you termination, I am giving you an extension letter which proves that there is a continuity.
So separate new.
Which proves that though you were to be terminated, but you are not terminated and now you are extended. That means what? अभी मैंने तो इसमें perennial को touch upon भी नहीं किया है. This is perennial only. You are operating machine X, he is operating machine Y, he is permanent, you are FTA. मैं how do I defend myself? कैसे मैं आप मुझे पूछो, this is what manpower planning is. Which man with what power is required, what planning? This is what manpower planning is. It's not only calculation of number. कहाँ पे कौन सा कैटेगरी का एम्प्लॉय कैसे फिट होगा, with what legal liabilities and with what legal soundness is my competence. Nature of work is very important. This is how what is skilled, unskilled, semi-skilled, technical, operational, managerial, administrative, supervisory with 18,000 salary. ये सब whose dispute is connected to dismissal, discharge, retrenchment, termination. These are all things which I am supposed to follow. Me being an pakka HR professional. This is for HR professionals. But ignoring that, what I am doing, मैं तो simple letter issue कर देता हूँ आपको. You are extended here by 1 more year and come and take वगैरह जो भी लिखना है. These also is. So what you are all supposed to do is get into more details of what fixed term employees. मेरे पास I have completed 51 slides of 170 slides. आप नीचे देख सकते हैं, it is 170 slides. So there are many things which remains unexplained, and this is only a touch upon kind of session which gives you a different direction to think and go back to your desk, do a little of homework, design a manpower strategy for next year and then implement it well. This is what I wanted to submit.
Next is if everyone wants to
We
do a
can
whole day
have
program.
continuous.
One day program.
If you all wish,
We would like to.
ये मैंने प्रोग्राम 2 दिन का किया है, 2 days, explaining all intricacies, even a small little word, including that of comma dots. Okay, and I have published a book worth of 100 pages and given to all participants like you, giving all details of 170 slides, which is a ready reckoner for you people to go back and design a strategy the way you think, depending upon the facts and circumstances you have in your company and the business requirement. Okay, so if you wish, we can have 1 day or 1.5 day or 2 days or whatever decision you take. I am ready, I have no issues. If there are questions, we can continue or we'll call it a day.
What should be the ideal break for reappointment under FTA?
Sorry?
What should be the ideal break period?
नहीं देना है ब्रेक, तो मैं वही तो बोल रहा हूँ, ब्रेक नहीं देना है, ब्रेक देना ही नहीं है. If you want to appoint me for 5 years, who stops? Who stops? You issue me a letter for 5 years. After 5 years, you give me termination letter from the day one that you are hereby appointed for 5 years from 1st of July 2027, 28. It is within the law.
Minimum.
It is not understood from the actions of HR as to why you keep reappointing a person. One more question which I was expecting is not being asked, but I am asking you. परमानेंट पोजीशन के अगेंस्ट में एफटीए को अपॉइंट कर सकते हैं क्या? दैट वाज द क्वेश्चन व्हिच आई वाज अबाउट टू आई वाज एक्सपेक्टिंग फ्रॉम यू. आई हैव 300 सैंक्शन्ड पोजीशन परमानेंट एम्प्लॉयज इन माय कंपनी, बट आउट ऑफ देम 50 लोगों को मैं एफटीए में अपॉइंट देता हूँ. इज इज राइट रॉन्ग? इज इज राइट रॉन्ग? This is what the question is I was expecting from you people, but in a different form. It was already asked. These 2-3 gentlemen and that lady did ask me. So we'll call it a day. Hope this was a fruitful and very interactive. Though the subject is hardcore legal, but थोड़ा interaction हमने किया. Other than दूसरा ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम में क्या होता है, थोड़ा ग्लैमराइज होता है, गेमिफिकेशन होता है. इसमें ये पॉसिबल है नहीं. दिस इज ओनली a kind of hardcore legal and IR subject. Yes. You remember I shown you one slide in the beginning. मैं आपको वो स्लाइड पहले से दिखा देता हूँ. This is what
current scenario, sir, in every pharma company are going for the FTA. 2 years, 3 years.
Let me bring that slide for you. Then we'll have discussion for 5-10 minutes.
Not in pharma, even over automobile.
What is the meaning of this? Did I say you find out this from your mobile? What is the meaning of camouflage and what is the meaning of subterfuge? इसका मतलब क्या है? This is what FTA is. ये आप ढूंढो ना, अभी आपको 5 minutes you will get the answer. What is camouflage is मैं गलत कर रहा हूँ. I am doing something wrong. I am doing something shameless. I am doing something which is not expected out of law provisions and वगैरह वगैरह. I am doing that. That is a camouflage. And what is subterfuge? Subterfuge is a word used in one Supreme Court larger bench judgment. दूध धारा कौन सी डेयरी है? I forgot on that dairy's name in Rajasthan. When the Supreme Court used these words very carefully, the meaning of this word is, listen to me carefully. I am trying to do something wrong, but I am trying to prove that the wrong which I am doing is right, and in a way I am caught that you are doing wrong and I am caught wrong. This is what the meaning of subterfuge. मैं कुछ गलत कर रहा हूँ, बट मैं प्रूव कर रहा हूँ कि जो गलत मैं कर रहा हूँ वो सही है.
सही है.
बट इन अ प्रोसेस आई एम कॉट दैट जो मैं गलत कर रहा हूँ वो सही में गलत है, वो सही नहीं है. That is what subterfuge is. This is what we are doing. The right question that you asked, that परमानेंट की जगह मैं टेम्पररी को यूज़ कर रहा हूँ, बट आई एम ट्राइंग टू प्रूव दैट FTA को यूज़ करके मैं सही कर रहा हूँ, वो एक्चुअली है गलत, एंड देन आई एम कॉट. दिस इज वॉट सबटरफ्यूज इज, एंड दिस इज वॉट एवरीवन इन HR डज. सब गलत करते हैं, स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम अपॉइंटमेंट लेटर टू कंफर्मेशन लेटर टू परफॉर्मेंस अप्रेजल टू एम्प्लॉय एंगेजमेंट टू whatever you see. I have seen 34 years in a different companies and a different वगैरह culture. But this is what I am doing. subterfuge. Contract labor में क्या करते हैं हम?
Yeah, that is also.
क्या करते हैं आप? You only, everybody can say, we all these permanent people. साहब को सब मालूम है, साहब के सामने, साहब को सब, हमने हमने 10 कंपनियां देखी, इन्होंने 1000 कंपनियां देखी. Though I am live on this, but this is a true reality what we are. So that means the HR people are more competent, trying to find out कहाँ पे गली है, निकल के कहाँ से काम करके कहाँ से कैसे वापस आना है without you being caught. Sorry?
Interest of organization, it is managed, but that is wrong thing.
It is managed. We are in one nutshell. I am saying we are taking बहुत बड़ा रिस्क लेते हैं हम. We take lot of risk.
You are happy, na?
Okay, and finally you are happy that yes.
Management will say, "कौन है कमी
अभी what management says is a different matter.
પૈસા બચશે ત્યાં સુધી management will be happy. જે દિવસે કેસ થશે તમને કોણે કીધું હતું? So FTA, suppose I have recruited on permanent nature, is running my, suppose my press machine is a permanent nature of work. After 3 years I remove him.
But you know, you have opened a very good subject which demands a discussion on what is perennial.
Yeah.
We all know what is perennial, and we know where the roots, कहाँ से निकल के कहाँ से निकलना है, कहाँ भागना है, and we know even the intricacies of what perennial is. Okay, this is where professionalism is required. You are subterfuge.
Benefit, what we are getting the benefit is, we are recruiting happy for 3 years, and nowadays people are more happy to stay for 3 years, more than 3 years. Every second or third year people are moving, they are changing the job. Nobody is interested to find the case.
You see
That is why
attrition.
we are getting this benefit.
You see, attrition was the word is connected to white collar, but now it is true for even black collar. There are people who put up the paper and then they says कि goodbye मुझे नहीं जाना है, and he is a blue collar because he has a lot of opportunities outside.
Sir, even blue collar people are also now starting to put up their resignation.
Sir, I
Even
issued.
they are part of the union.
Sir, I issued a letter to one Turner. उसमें लिखा था your age of retirement is 58 years. वो 21 साल का बच्चा मेरे को बोलता है सर मुझे 58 साल तक इधर नौकरी करना है. I had no answer. This 21 years boy says सर मुझे यहाँ 58 years तक नौकरी करना पड़ेगा. For him it is shocking.
Sir, at first time I issued a resignation of permanent person in 2008, and I was shocked. We were having the union, and he was a very active person in union also. He told me that I got 100 rupees more, so I am leaving.
Sir,
He joined
union leader of my company has become executive maintenance in some other company. So he is, while working with us, he has acquired diploma, then he did degree. वो उसके बच्चे के साथ पढ़ाई किया उसने. His son was doing diploma, he also started doing. His son did degree, he also did degree, and then he resigned, become executive maintenance in some other company. So I'm really very happy that to it.
सर कई जगह पे अपॉइंटमेंट लेने से पहले रेजिग्नेशन लेटर लगता है.
Sir, these are all discussions. Sir,
रिटायरमेंट के बाद बात करेंगे.
नहीं. There are certain issues which can be talked out of this room. Not here. No, because I am live.
When he was in job, he has never told me.
This is where the law knowledge of a supervisor comes into picture. So we call it a day. We put a full stop here.
say that is also coming in these two words.
Yes.
That is also coming in this
Fundamental
program.
law is that minimum 5 years service is required. Then secondary come 240 days in each year. Isn't it?
No, 240 is each year requirement.
But initially 5 years is there completed so is there.
No, ऐसा कुछ नहीं ना.
4 years and 240 days or 5 years.
એમાં એવું છે that your and my basic job is to monitor 240 days. The purpose is not gratuity. Purpose is regularity. What is the purpose? Gratuity and other benefits are consequential and the related connections to 240 days. The basic job is to monitor 240 days. If I am not completing 240 days, then you design what actions supposed to be taken. But first you start monitoring. अभी आप जाके देखना, आपने जितने भी लोगों को ग्रेजुइटी दिया है, थोड़ा पोस्टमार्टम कर लेना, जितने भी लोगों को ग्रेजुइटी दिया है उसमें से कितने लोगों ने 240 डेज कंप्लीट नहीं किया बट आपने दिया. You will have alarming data. Your absenteeism rate is to an extent of 10%. So 10% gratuity तो आपने दे ही दिया, कोई डेटा एनालिसिस करने की जरूरत ही नहीं है. Yes, no. Obviously yes, because your absenteeism rate is 10%. So 10% लोग ने तो 240 days complete नहीं किया होगा, ऐसा मैं मानता हूँ. And then you gave him gratuity. This is where from you could have saved. Using law into, हाँ बोलिए.
5 years continuous service is minimum criteria required for.
5 years is okay, yes.
4 years and 240 days was completed. Is it eligible for gratuity?
No. Let me put it in other way around. 4 years and 240 days is a court verdict. Let us understand this first. And is a high court verdict. And if it is a Supreme Court verdict, you and me are supposed to follow under Article 141. अभी आप आर्टिकल 141 ऑफ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ इंडिया जाके पढ़ लेना, सुप्रीम कोर्ट जो बोलता है उसका क्या महत्व है, दैट यू विल अंडरस्टैंड फ्रॉम आर्टिकल 141 ऑफ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन. हाई कोर्ट का कुछ भी ऑर्डर एक्सेप्ट द कंसर्न पार्टी इज नॉट बाइंडिंग, 100% not binding. The reason is every month you get 200-300 high court judgment. किसको फॉलो करोगे आप?
That is case to case.
It is 100% dependent on facts and circumstances that you have in your company and is applicable to those parties. ठीक है, सुप्रीम कोर्ट का जजमेंट मुझे लागू पड़ता है और मुझे उसको रिस्पेक्ट देना चाहिए, बीइंग अ सुप्रीम अथॉरिटी ऑफ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन. So therefore 240 days after 4 years, it has to be interpreted individually based on your understanding. It is per completed year. Somebody very rightly said. हाँ बोलिए. हाँ बोलो प्लीज. लास्ट क्वेश्चन हाँ प्लीज.
સર આપણે સીટીસી સ્ટ્રક્ચરમાં જનરલી બધા હવે પ્રેક્ટિસ કરે છે ગ્રેજ્યુટી અંદર એડ કરે.
શામાં?
સીટીસી સ્ટ્રક્ચર જ્યારે મેક કરે
CTC.
ત્યારે એની અંદર ગ્રેજ્યુટી એડ કરે. તો એ માણસ કોઈ બી એમ્પ્લોય હોય એને 240 ડેઝ કમ્પ્લીટ થયા હોય.
If you have
એલિજિબલ ફોર ગ્રેજ્યુટી
no 240 days when you calculate gratuity in CTC, do right as per the provisions. एक બે શબ્દ લખી દેવાના, ગ્રેજ્યુટી એઝ પર એક્ટ. તમારા કેસમાં 500 રૂપિયા, in your case it is becoming 1000 rupees, into bracket as per gratuity act. You are out of danger.
Sir, please share your mobile number. In case of any retrenchment or removal, we can take
No, I don't help. No, I have done this job for 34 years. I don't know. What I do is, I have very rightly raised the question, my job is to impart a training to you so that you become independent. This is what my job is. Not that every time you lift up a phone and phone karo, sir, ama su karu. No, that is galat. This is what Modi Sahab said, Atmanirbhar. This is what Modi Sahib said. This is Atmanirbhar. Let me complete my talk with one statement. One statement which is alarming for all of us. I was interacting with one CEO. I said, sir, what do you think about HR? A CEO handling 1,000 crore worth, 1,000 crore. His opinion about HR is, કંઈ પણ કામ સોંપે તો કન્સલ્ટન્ટ શોધો છો. You enlist a job which you can do independently, without co-worker. તમે એવા કેટલા કામ કરો છો જેમાં તમને કોઈની જરૂર નથી પડતી. That list is too small. Whatever job is interested to HR, they pick up a phone and say, આનો consultant કોણ છે? મોકલી દો મારી પાસે. This is simple लेटर का ड्राफ्ट करना है. I can see on WhatsApp, मेरे को रिटेंशन का लेटर का ड्राफ्ट भेजो, अप्रेजल लेटर का ड्राफ्ट भेजो. Everybody in WhatsApp they are hunting for drafts. मुझे इंडेमनिटी बॉन्ड का ड्राफ्ट भेजो. ये क्या है यार? ये व्हाट इज इट दैट यू डूइंग? उसका खुद का कॉम्पिटेंसी कुछ है ही नहीं है. चलो, वी विल एंड दिस विद थैंक्स टू ऑल. लिसन टू हिम. होप यू विल नॉट अब्यूज मी.
गुरु ब्रह्मा गुरु विष्णु गुरुदेव महेश्वर गुरु साक्षात परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः. जोरदार तालियां हो जाए सेशन.
थैंक यू.
जोरदार तालियां हो जाए सुधार साहब के लिए.
No, thank you. Thank you for tolerating me for 3 hours.
HR माइलस्टोन में 8 साल की जर्नी हो गई है. डिलाइटेड मेंबर. और संत कबीर इंस्टीट्यूट में तीसरा सेशन मैंने लिया, अटेंड किया. संत कबीर इंस्टीट्यूट हमेशा से एक फैंटास्टिक वेंडर पार्टनर रहा है, वेन्यू पार्टनर रहा है. फैसिलिटेशन बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग रहा है. 2 बार हमने क्लासरूम सेशन लिया तो वो फील हुआ कि 12-15 साल पहले जब हम पढ़ाई करते थे तब कैसा फील होगा. आज हम ऑडिटोरियम में पहुंच गए. जबरदस्त तालियां हो गई है. संत कबीर पूरी स्टूडेंट्स कमेटी जिसने यहाँ पे पार्टिसिपेट किया, फैकल्टी मेंबर्स एंड द मैनेजमेंट, वी आर वेरी मच डिलाइटेड टू फाउंड ग्रेटिट्यूड टुवर्ड्स यू. थैंक यू सुधार साहब. आपने ये सेशन में को लग रहा था कि अगर वर्ड ऑफ थैंक्स के लिए हाईलाइट नहीं होता तो शाम के 6 बजे जाते फिर भी सेशन खत्म नहीं होता. बिकॉज देयर आर लॉट ऑफ इनसाइट्स व्हाट यू आर शेयरिंग इज जस्ट न्यूमरस. Thank you so much, Jalpa Chaturvedi sir, for providing fantastic platform of HR milestone and creating this fantastic event. जोरदार तालियां उनके लिए होनी चाहिए.
Yeah, thank you. Jalpa did a very good job. Jalpa, extended me a lot of facility for
Absolutely,
coming,
absolutely.
going. She was frequently interacting with me.
She
made it possible rather.
Comrade and commando of HR milestone.
Yeah. She is always live on the.
सोनी साहब आपको स्पेशली थैंक्स. आप आए डिग्निटरी की.
It's uninvited guest.
No, you are always my guest. Always.
Our honor and pleasure to have you here. और कल गुरु पूनम है तो आज ज्ञान का प्रसार हो
This is
गया.
my card which I am. ये सबको एक एक दे देना. कम हो जाए तो मेरे को पूरी सबको दे देना.
ये किया तो ये हम सोच रहे थे 48 घंटे इसके पीछे हमने निकाला कि सुधार सर के लिए लाया क्या है. जब हमने प्रोफाइल पढ़ी, जब हमने सोचा, मैंने और जल्पा ने काफी ब्रेनस्टॉर्म किया तो हम लोगों ने यही सोचा कि गुरु को गुरु दक्षिणा में ज्ञान ही मिल सकता है. हम आपको ज्ञान देना, ज्ञान के टोकन के स्वरूप में एक मेमोरी देना चाहते हैं. सोनी साहब को मैं रिक्वेस्ट करना चाहूँगा कि आप प्लीज इसको फैसिलिटेट करें और आप सुधार साहब को बोलिए. प्लीज सर ये लाइव हो रहा है, आप आ जाओ. आ जाओ सर, ये काम करें चतुर्वेदी साहब और आप दोनों आ जाओ. चलो ऐसा
इसमें ज़्यादा वजन है. Very good friends. We will take one group photo.
उसके बाद हम लोग ग्रुप फोटो ही लेंगे और उसके बाद हम नेटवर्किंग करेंगे.
That is protocol.
Thank you so much everyone for joining us.
Thank you very much. One small announcement, friends. I am distributing my card, and I am retired since 2 years, and I have dedicated myself to HR fraternity.